Welcome, His Holiness. Welcome to Nova Southeastern University. I'm Julie Speckler, Director of Public Affairs. With me today is my colleague, Ken Ma. We are grateful to have you back on campus, back to Nova Southeastern, and the media are grateful that you're giving us an opportunity to ask you questions. They are aware that we have pre-selected some of them to ask you questions, and Ken Ma will ask each media that has been designated a question for you. Thank you.
Would you like to make some comments first, Your Holiness, or should we start with the press conference with the questions?
I think first few words. I think, do you attend this morning my talk? Yes. And then you also know, you see, you have, I think, a similar sort of role for promotion of human value and promotion of rich harmony. So my own sort of field, you see, there's a certain way to promote these things. You also have the certain your professional way is to promote these things. So that please keep in your mind. After all, everybody is interested to build healthier human society. Healthier means not only is the physical healthy, but you see the mentally more peaceful. More peaceful, very much you see related with compassion. So build more compassionate world. Like that.
Question from the Associated Press, Matt Sedensky, please ask your question.
Your Holiness, you've expressed a willingness to be patient with China even after so many years of waiting. Are you concerned at all that the average Tibetan people are growing tired of that approach?
I think it clearly shows a Tibetan inside Tibet. Now generations passed, but still it's the Tibetan spirit, non-violence, still kept. So that also I think the sign of Tibetan
determination to face the difficulties.
Question from JD from the Miami Herald.
Hi. You'll get a lot of serious questions, so I'll give you.
Oh yes, serious question. Very good. Yes.
I'll give you a very easy and fun one, maybe. You're here for 2 days at least, talking at many schools and to presidents and students. But in other times here, when you're not speaking publicly, what are you doing? Anything for fun, or any friends you're meeting, or something you appreciate about South Florida in particular?
Kaza. I think at different my age, I think different interest or different, rather I think hobby. When I was very young, only play. And then I think at one time, you see some technology, and I love camera, and also you see they're using some instrument to repair some sort of certain machines like clock, these things. Or I proudly to say you, one occasion, 2 American photographers you see came to Dharamsala, and one of their camera broke. So then, just we casual sort of talk. Then that person you see asked me whether can repair. Then I, you see, with a little hesitation, I accept. Yes, I will do. Then fortunately, I think my luck. So I repair. So that later part of my life, now, particularly these days, reading and because of renews our way.
Reviewing what I have studied before.
And then, of course, I think last several decades, daily meditation also used to 4 hours, 5 hours, like that. Early morning, 3:30, then till around 8:30, my prayer, some meditation, mainly analytical meditation, like that.
Question from Jim Davis at the Sun Sentinel.
Your Holiness, this is your third visit to South Florida within about 11 years. What is this in particular about this area that keeps coming back, keeps drawing you back?
No special reason. There is invitation. Invitation come. So without invitation, I'm not used to visit this area as a tourist. Nothing. So invitation come, and to come. I think it is rather silly. Invitation come, a deadline go there is silly. And particularly, like university, I very much sort of also keen meet professors and students, and these are the place where more I think there is also the exploring human human ability, human good quality. So sometimes you see in the West, you see you have your own certain sort of way of thinking. In East, you see, I think it seems more sort of modernized nation. It's more emphasis about technology, science, and external matters. Whereas in East, those ancient sort of ancient sort of way of thinking is taking care more about our emotions, mind. So now in the West, even in modern science, also now more and more people paying serious interest about human emotions and the human mind. And particularly the medical field. You see, now there are sort of more research work about connection with our health and emotion, like that.
Question from Derek Hayward at WSBN.
Your Holiness, you are the 14th Dalai Lama.
Hmm?
With China in such control of Tibet, is it possible there may not be the emergence of a 15th, that it may end with you?
Actually, I no botheration about Dalai institution, but Communist China more concerned about Dalai institution. So they already use serious sort of the preparation for next 15th Dalai Lama. Of course, political reason.
Will there be one?
Huh?
Will there be a next?
That's up to 20 people. I have no concern. I have no sort of not much interest. My only interest is so long I alive, my life should be meaningful, some useful. That's all.
Question from Martin Varlanga from Univision.
In the middle of this economical crisis, a lot of people in America are losing their houses, their jobs, and their hope, and their faith sometimes. What would you say to them because they are losing their happiness too?
At the meeting, I mentioned, are you there? You are there? Oh. So there are other values you enjoy, and actually you are the leading person, leading nation. These values, democracy, freedom, liberty, and freedom of speech, freedom of thought, these things. So you should think, you should remember these values. With these values, there is much chance to utilize individual creativity. So now here, you mentioned because of losing hope somewhere. That should not be that way. So economic crisis, naturally, one temporary, it happened. I think in 30s, that kind of sort of situation happened. And then without losing hope, without losing determination, it's a recover. So why not today? If you really lose hope and give up effort, that's a real failure. Like that. This is my feeling.
Question from
Of
Ted.
course, still, I'm not economist. I don't know. I think you know better.
But
How to
you
do.
mentioned something about compassion in your conference. In these countries dealing with the trials of terrorists, how can you be compassionate to terrorists and at the same time knowing that if they are stay alive, they can kill again?
As I mentioned, they are making distinction towards actor without losing
Towards the person. No?
towards person without losing compassion. Keep compassion. Towards their action, appropriate countermeasure. And then, like for the terrorism, right from the beginning, I express there should be, two measures, right? Two levels of measure. One, temporary. That's various government, concerned people is taking. Then that's not sufficient. If you take countermeasure in more violent way, at that time I mentioned today one Bin Laden. If you handle more wrong way, the next 10 Bin Laden. Then after that 100 Bin Laden will come. So we must have long-term plan. That is interaction, meet these people, and some sort of contact, emotional level. And I think another sort of, I think the important thing is give them education. Imagine if America, a few decades ago, she spent more money in education, health, in these, like Afghanistan or Iraq, in this area. I think today things will be different. Remain isolated. And using exploitation, their natural resources, but not much care about their basic sort of necessary, education, these things. Then, within their own, you see, gap, rich and poor, and the poorer section of people mentally very unhappy. And they got the impression these richer family backed by West. So they neglect about those the poorer section of the people. And that also is develop more frustration. Frustration transform hatred, and hatred transform violence. That's my view. So,
Question from Ted Skelton at CBS4.
As we see more fighting in the world, along with intolerance, hate, and discrimination, some based on religious beliefs, how would you suggest moving forward?
hatred act. I think world becoming much more healthier. This is my view. I won the 1935, just before Second World War, and watching since then, I think world becoming more mature. So basically, overall picture, I think world becoming much more because of the civilized. I feel like that. So the fighting, even you see with the name of different religion, still there. But these are, I think, simply traces of previous centuries sort of a trend, but improving. So still, of course, you see, we need more effort. Here, now I think the next meeting I am going to mention about the promotion of dialogue, spirit of dialogue.
Question from Ari Adzer at NBC6.
Your Holiness, right now the Olympic Games are going on in Canada. In your feeling, in general, do you think the Olympic Games fosters goodwill among peoples of the world, or does it do the opposite and foster more ill will and divisiveness among peoples of different countries?
I don't know. I don't know. That question really a new question. I don't know. I don't know. But from the I think from a certain level, they must depend on the basic way of thinking. Those people who too much sense of competition and is desire beating other, even in some cases in the name of national patriotism, national pride. And then sometimes it may sort of fuel to develop some kind of more divisions there. At the moment, this is some kind of sort of feeling of desire for compete with other. But basically, this is some kind of the happy spirit. And because of that,
So, for example, if the general atmosphere is where people have a sense of a global community, then participate in the games, then it's fine.
You know, the competition, there are two kinds of competition. One sense of competition is not defeat other, but simply you do not want to remain behind. You equally be top. That kind of sense of competition is positive, and that leads further progress. But then other kind of competition is they try to beat other one, and then eventually using all sorts of method. That sense of competition is negative, destructive.
Question from Todd Tongan, WPLG.
We have 5 minutes, by the way.
Your Holiness, you say that universal responsibility is feeling for other people's suffering just as we feel for our own. In your view, has America and the global community embraced this idea with action in regards to Haiti?
Haiti. I think tsunami, after tsunami, and now the latest, the Haiti, I think generally, response from the rest of the world, I think really wonderful. I think such thing may not take place in early part of the 20th century, I don't think. Now there are, you see, the feeling of oneness of humanity is good. This is my feeling.
Okay, Your Holiness, this is going to be the last question.
Okay.
Because your talk is coming up soon, and we have 2 minutes left. So Ashley from the NSU Current, please ask your question.
Your Holiness, you're definitely an inspiration to many people worldwide, but are there any other current renowned leaders that inspire or motivate you?
I think, you know, just one pickup, Kausale.
It's very difficult to pick up just one individual.
You see, what is it, different people, you see different sort of what's it, certain sort of what's it, attitude, which really attracts me or impressed or inspired me. I think President Bush, at one aspect, human level, very nice. That does not mean everybody approve his policy. I also have some reservation. And actually, you see, one my sort of meeting after you see this crisis happened, I told him, I love you, but some of your policy I have great reservation. I mentioned to him like that. As a human being, very nice person, very nice person. Yeah. Then I remember, as I mentioned that, I think yesterday or, I think day before yesterday, I think the Indian president, today. Oh, then this morning I mentioned this, the first Indian president, Rajendra Prasad. Oh, really? Wonderful. Wonderful. Like that. Even some ordinary people, when we met, they show their real human sincerity. These are really. One thing, whenever I met people, in my mind, not much differences. I always look at the human level. Their social or political or social sort of background, study, the status. I don't care. Like that.
Thank you, Your Holiness. Thank you so much. This ends the press conference today as His Holiness goes to speak to the next program. I want to remind everybody that if you're photographers or TV, you can go back on the riser, but let's let His Holiness out first, please. And